Well, my friends, I am back. Now, when I left you after I did my ASMR Ravelry binder chit-chat, as we went through the binder, there were so many great dishcloth stitches and designs to pick from. I thought it would be fun, so I left with the question, which one do you think we should do? You know, I'm trying to do at least something out of each binder that I share with you of my beautiful Ravelry white binders. You know, my free downloads. So, which one did you pick? Well, let me share with you the one that I picked. This is an old one from around about 2011. This is one from around 2011, and you can find it under different names, but the one I found it under, the, you know, every time I looked, was the Almost Lost Washcloth Pattern. The Almost Lost Washcloth Pattern. Or some, I think there's a couple that says Mama's Lost Washcloth Pattern. So, I don't know who's Mama. And I don't know what washcloth or dishcloth, but we're going to make it tonight. And I thought I'd share with you how to knit this just really cute, we're going to call it a dishcloth in the round, from this pattern free download that I have had in my book since 2011. And then, 2013. 2013, it came out in November of 2013, or when it was posted. So, there it is. Now let me share with you what it looks like. I'll sit that over there, and I'll sit the pattern here. Now, as you can see, I've got one started, but let's just take a look. This is simply knitting in the round. It reminds you, some of you might think, was that a crochet doily? No, but you know, it has the idea of it, and it's just a simple where you knit each wedge, each point, they call them points, each point until you have enough points to close the circle and make it a round dishcloth, face cloth, a mug rug, whatever you'd like to make it. Now, isn't that one pretty? Looks the same on both sides. In fact, you have to kind of mark it to make sure you know which is the right and the wrong side. Alright? Now this is a 14-point dishcloth. This one, I wanted to see how, if I could go up a little bigger. This is a 16-point. I have 16 points if I counted them. Now you can leave the hole in the center, or you can close it completely up. You'll have a large hole, and then we'll make it smaller, but I like the hole in the center. Then of course I could always hang it on something if I left the hole in the center. See, you can always stick it on a little hook. And that's one side. I got the wrong side marked. Look at that. And this is just your regular cotton. My cotton is so old. You know, I still have that wall of cotton from my very first video when I gave you my room tour. So, what do you think of that? And as you can see, I have one. I'm going to pull this back over now a little bit. Back in frame. Now, I have one, of course, that I thought I'd just do in plain, kind of a ecru cotton, so that you can see how easy it is to make the points and to read the simple little pattern. It's only 4 rows. I believe it's 4 rows, but we'll check in just a minute. What do you think of that? Alright, all you need is some practice yarn, practice cotton, US number 8 or US number 9. If your cotton is just regular old, cotton. Alright, let me see what I can set it up, and I'll be right back. Alright, my friends, before we get started, I think I said we're going to knit this in the round. We're going to knit it flat, and then we will when we put the seams, the points together, then it will be a dishcloth, a round dishcloth. That's what I meant to say. And another thing, if you have the newer cotton that it's a little thinner, you could drop down to a US number 7. So a US number 7, 8, and sometimes I just use a 9 because I like, I'm used to my number 9. But whatever suits you for this. And we just need some nice cotton to work from. All right, this pattern is a 4-row repeat. And then there's 1 row. Once you finish the 4 rows, then you'll cast off a certain amount of stitches, and then you'll simply go up and start the count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, cast off. 1, 2, 3, 4, cast off, until we have completed the number of points. We're going to go ahead and do 14 points that the original pattern that I have calls for. So you simply cast on 14 stitches and just knit 2 rows. You cast on 14 stitches, knit 2 rows. If you want the 16, the larger one, you would cast on 16 stitches and knit 2 rows. But just for this, I'm just going to be talking about the 14 stitch count. All right. And just to kind of, like I said, this pattern is really old, so there was no chart, and I didn't want to try to chart it and make a mess and not sure. So I went ahead and wrote it out, as you can see. But I wrote it out so that I could understand it. And so that I can explain it to you. All right, so row 1 is simply row 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first thing you do is knit 4 stitches. So it's knit 4, and then you're going to do a yarn over, and then you're going to knit to the end of the row and leave however many stitches each row tells you to leave. When I knit row 1, it tells me to stop and leave two stitches at the end. Row 2, I knit 4, yarn over, knit to the last 4 stitches. There should be 4 stitches. I'm going to stop and turn. Okay, we're going to turn and come back. We're going to do short rows. Row 3, you're going to knit 4 stitches, yarn over, knit down to the last 6 stitches. Stop. We're going to turn around and knit back. It's all knit, no purls. And row 4, knit 4, yarn over, knit to the last 8 stitches. Turn around and just knit back. So we have 2, 4, 6, and 8 stitches left at the end. Once we do that, then we will cast off and bind off 4 stitches, and then I'll take it from there and show you how simple it is to just start the repeat. And that's all it is, just a simple repeat. Does that make sense? Take a good screenshot. I'll have it on the so that you can see it good, but there it is again. And go ahead and cast on your 14 stitches and knit 2 rows, and we will get started on the almost lost dishcloth, or Mama's lost dishcloth, or Jay's just knitting these pretty points and making a beautiful round dishcloth. Back in just a moment. All right, I am back. Hopefully everyone has got their yarn. You've cast on 14 stitches, and you have knit 2 rows. This is what you should have on your needle. Are you ready to go? Of course, you'll be reading off your copy as I'm working off my copy. We are on row 1. We're on the right side of the work. We'll mark the wrong side, and a little later we'll get a little piece of contrasting yarn. But this is the right side, and row 1, and every row starts the same. Can you see this? It says knit 4 stitches. So knit 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I have my fan on. Let's see. I hope it's not. Let me move back and turn it off. Okay. So it's knit 4. Now yarn over. Now knit. On row 1, it says knit to the last 2 stitches here. So I'm just going to knit down. After I do that yarn over, make sure you have that. And just knit down to the last 2 stitches. Okay, I see them coming up. I'm working with some larger needles so you can see. There's the last 2 stitches on my left hand needle, so I'm going to simply turn the work. Now I'm on the wrong side, and we'll mark it. It's a little piece of contrast. I found a little piece I'll mark in just a minute. When I turn, the main thing is, you see how when I turn, the yarn is in front of that needle? You need to always put the yarn in back. As soon as you turn, put the yarn in back of the needle. Now knit back to the top. We started like at the top, or the beginning of the row. Now we're going to knit back. We left 2 stitches, and we knit back. This is row 1 of this simple little knitted dishcloth, face cloth, mug rug, whatever use you can find for it. So I'm back at the top. See that? Turn to the right side, check it. You should have 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a yarn over eyelet hole. Can you see that? Can you see the eyelet hole? That's what you should have. Alright, so now we move to row 2. We're going to do the exact same thing. Just a few numbers change. So I knit 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Stop. Make sure you do a yarn over the needle. Now knit. If you look on your paper, it says knit to the last 4 stitches. So I'm just going to simply knit after the yarn over. Just keep knitting. Knit down. Oops. It's a little hot and humid here today. Whew. Oh, wow. So my yarn is not sliding as much as I want it to, but it says knit down to the last 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more for me. Now, can you see the last 4? Alright, stop, turn the work. First thing you do is put the yarn in the back of the needle so that we can knit. everything is knit. We're not purling. See, now it's in the back of the needle, see? Now knit back to the top, or the beginning of the row. So I just simply knit back. Some kind of way I got a little split yarn there, a little piece of thread, and messed up my thing. Oh, me. I just love going back through some of these old, like I said, stitch patterns, but most of these will not have a chart, so. Alright, so I finished. I turned the work. Yes, let's look. Again, we have 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then there's yarn over. Look how many eyelets we have now. We started with 1, now we have 2. Okay, and I have 4 stitches with a gap. Can you see that gap there? That's what you're going to have every time you turn. You're going to have a gap in the work right there. Alright, row 3. Jay, we're going to do it again? Yeah. Row 3, easy. It's just really simple. Knit 4. 2, 3, and 4. Stop. Make sure you do the yarn over. Now row 3 says knit all the way down to the end until you have 6 stitches left. Okay, I have 4, and then I have a gap. Okay, so now we're going to knit down to 6. So just knit. Stop and count from the bottom. 2, 4, 6. Okay, I got 1 more to do, so I need to knit 1 more stitch. Stop and take a look. Look. 2, 4, 6. 6 stitches left. So turn the work. And right away put that yarn in the back of my right hand needle. It needs to go to the back so that we can knit. Okay? So now we just knit back to the beginning of the row. Just like this. See, now you thought it was going to be something real hard, didn't you? Oh, it's too hard for hard. Look, we want to get in and out. Okay, so I'm back at the beginning of, so I can start the next row, but let's take a look and see what we have. It's always hard to see, you know, when you just knit every row, but you will get a nice pattern. Can you see how many eyelets we have? We just finished row 3, so how many eyelets should we have? 1, 2, can you see 3? Right there. 1, 2, 3. All right, so now we are on row 4. Just that quick. Row 4, exactly the same. All right, we're going to knit 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now stop, do the yarn over, and row 4 says knit to the last 8 stitches. We're going to knit down till we have 8 stitches left on this needle. So let's go. So we're just knitting across, or knitting the stitches on this side. And it comes up so quick you have to stop. Make yourself remember, oh wait a minute, I gotta have 8. Because you have 2, let's look. 2, 4, 6, see it came right up on. Real quick, there's 8. Look at the needle. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, it says stop at 8 stitches, so turn the work. As soon as I turn the work, what do you have to do? Real quick, put that needle so that it's behind, put the yarn behind this needle so that we can just knit. So I'm just going to knit all the way back to the beginning of the row. Okay, when I get to the beginning of the row and I turn the work, guess what? We're done with rows 1 through 4. You should have how many eyelets? Can you guess? You should have at least 4. 1, 2, 3, and then there's one at the very top, 4. Can you see that? All right, the next thing is to cast off. As soon as we have finished the 8, we cast off. All right, so we're going to cast off 4 stitches. So first thing I do is knit 1 stitch, then knit the second stitch, stop, reach back and cast off. That's 1. Again, knit and cast off. That's number 2. Again, knit and cast off number 3. And then 1 more. Knit, reach back and cast off number 4. Okay. Now, we're going to just knit to the end. But before we knit, let's count our stitches. We started with 14. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14 with the one over here. So we always come back after we cast off, we always go back to our start number, whether it's 14 or whether it's 16. All right, so now it says knit to the end. So now I just knit all the way to the end. So I'm just knitting, knitting to the end of this row where I left the 8 stitches. Whew, there's a nice plane going on. Boy, that thing sounds low. Is it a plane or is it a helicopter? I don't know. Okay. Because it sounded awful low. Alright, so I'm knitting all the last stitches. There were 8 left. So I knit them. Stop. Let's see what we have. Oh my gosh, we have a little point or wedge. All right, now in order to get back to row 1, okay, we turn the work and we have to knit back up so that we can start row 1 again. Because row 1, this is the bottom, and here's the top where the point or the wedge. So we need to come from here to here, so turn the work. Now this is the wrong side. Now this would be a good time. Let me just to take a piece of yarn, because you definitely know this is the wrong side, and go ahead and let's just put a little piece of yarn here, just so I don't have to wonder anymore or make a mistake. Oh, am I on the right side or wrong side? So there's my piece of contrasting yarn to let me know this is the wrong side. So now I need to just knit all the way back up to the beginning of the row. Plain and simple. Just knit back. Okay. Just let me pull up a little yarn here. Feels funny knitting with this cotton, because especially when it's humid, it's very cottony. Whew, it's rough too. This old cotton, boy, it's rough on your hands. I feel it. Okay, but I'm just knitting them. That was a knot already in the yarn, so okay. So I made it back to the beginning of the row, and when I turn it to the right side, because I now have the wrong side marked, okay, I now have a point or a wedge, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 eyelet openings right there. Can you see them? Maybe a little hard to see in this garter where we're knitting every row, but they're there. And guess what you need to do now? You go back to row 1. You go back, and I'll just do, let's just see, can I get you started again? Row 1, you knit 4 stitches. Every row you start the same. Knit 4. Ooh, I got a bad knot in this yarn. Okay, there's 1. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now yarn over, and then you look to see how many stitches am I to leave on row 1. I got to knit all the way and leave 2 stitches. There should be 2 stitches left. So I'm just going to knit down till I come to those 2 stitches. Just like this. Nope, one more. Look, I have 2 stitches left on the needle. You see them right there? Then I turn the work. I put the yarn behind the needle. Now I knit back up to the beginning of the row again. I knit from the bottom back up to the top. I know now I'm comfortable, because I know which is the right side and the wrong side, because I have the wrong side marked with yarn. I don't have to, I know exactly where I am. And I made sure that I did that yarn over. You just keep knitting. All the stitches are knit. Stop, turn. Let's just check and see what we have. Oh my gosh, I see the yarn over right there. From row 1, guess what? Row 2, row 3, row 4, and then you'll cast off. All right, I'm going to let you knit on just so that you can kind of get your own rhythm. And then I'll come back and see and check in and see how it looks. All right, my friends. I was just going to knit a little bit and come back, but once you get into the rhythm and you see the little points start, developing, it's just an easy knit. So let me catch you up to where I got to, and take a look at yours. If you started with a cast on of 14, you're going to go ahead and want to do 14 points. So I have 14, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm on the 14th point to finish up my you know, so I can make my circle. If you did 16 stitch cast on, then when I worked mine, I had to have 16 points. So that's the difference. So let's just go now. Go with me. I have, like I said, I didn't mean to go this far, but I couldn't help it. I just got to knit, and it was just so easy. But I can tell if you get lost of where you are, you can go back and count your yarn overs. So I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 yarn overs. That means I finished row 3, and I am up to row 4. So I'll move my marker down here. I'll move my marker, and I'll get ready. Okay, and I have 2, 4, have 6 stitches with that gap. So I've already, so now on row 4, we're at the top, we're at the beginning of the row, so I knit 4, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, then I yarn over. Now I'm going to knit. 4 says knit all the way across and leave the last 8. So I'm going to knit across until I have 8 stitches left. And you have to kind of go slow because it'll come up real quick. Let me stop and count. Okay. I see 2, 4, 6, 8. So I got 1 more stitch. Now let me count it again. How many stitches do I have left? 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 stitches. Okay, when I get to the 8 stitches, you turn the work to the wrong side because I have it marked on my sample here. And of course, put the yarn in the back of the needle. Now knit back. So I'm just going to knit back up to the top of the row. So I'm going to do that. This is how you're going to end it once you reach the number of points for your sample. I had to have 14, and this is the 14th point that I'm doing right now. So I get all the way up, I turn the work back to the right side. Okay, I finish row 4. Then after you do row 4, you should have 2, 4, 6, 8, and then a gap, and then the rest of the stitches. So now I want to, the next thing is to cast off. Now I'm saying cast off because that was what was on their pattern. It's the same thing as bind off. People, just in case some say, why is she saying cast off? I was wondering too, but it was on, I wrote it, and it's in her pattern. I guess that's what she used. But cast off or bind off. So I need to cast off, since I've been saying it, 4 stitches or bind off. So here I go. So I go ahead and I knit 2 stitches, stop, reach back, because it's awkward to me to say cast, but that's all right. Cast off 1, do it again, cast off, that's number 2. Here comes number 3, and you need to cast off 4 stitches. There's 4 stitches cast off. I'm going to just count just to make sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, and 14. You should have the same number of stitches that you started with. I have 14 for this sample. Now I'm just going to knit all the way down to the end. Just knit all the way down, knit to the end. After I cast off those stitches, this is the last point that I have to knit. Get some yarn here. So I'm just knitting down the row so that I can knit all the stitches. Just like this. Just knit. Okay. Alright, so now when I get to the bottom, okay, I still have to turn the work one more time. I turn the work one more time so that I can knit back to the top. Then we'll be ready to do a little sewing. So I'm just going to knit back up all the way to the beginning of the row. This is how you finish after you get to the last wedge. You bind off, you knit down. Now I'm knitting back up to the top of the row and just knit all the stitches just like this. Okay. Okay. Now once I have that, I turn and make sure you're on the, I just like to be on the right side. Okay. Now I'm on the right side, and now I am going to bind off. I'm going to bind off all of these stitches. Does that make sense? So I just knit, reach back, or cast off. I kept saying, why am I saying that? Okay. But you see how so that I have a nice neat edge to sew. I'm on the right side of the work, and I've come to a stop. I've got my wedges, I've counted them, worked them all the way. Oops, I dropped a stitch, hold on a minute. And now I'm just simply binding off or casting off all the stitches so that I can have a nice neat edge. To do my little sewing. Just real quick, just bind off. Reach back, get all your stitches. It's all garter stitch, it's all knit every row, so all the rows just look the same. It's not like stockinette where you can tell the front from the back. Okay, you see what I have? Now I can start to work to put all the little points together, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. Once you bind off all the stitches, let's see if I have enough yarn here. Ooh. Well, I have a knot in my yarn, so I'm going to just cut it. Now let me go and take it through. Okay, pull up the loop down here at the bottom. You see what I'm doing? Then I'm going to cut me a long tail so I can sew. And then I'm going to bring that through the loop. Okay. Now I'm going to sew these two sections together, and then I'm going to close up this hole. So let me turn it so that I can sew. Now I'm going to have a problem with this little knot, so I'll think of something. I may have to just go through my needle. Hold on a minute. Like I said, my yarn is so old. It's just full of knots. Back in the day, I guess they just didn't worry so much about knots. But anyway, I have this long tail now on here. Okay. And we're simply just going to, you can turn to the wrong side. I think that's what I did. I like to sew mine on the wrong side. You turn to the wrong side, and we're not going to do anything fancy. All you're going to do is simply go across. Like I said, I got this knot in mind. Let me turn it. Just going to go across, back and forth like we normally do. Keep it laying flat. And you're going to sew these two seams together. Just go across the oh, they really had a bad knot in this one. Let me just... See, they have a bad... Okay, I'm going to just leave that knot out. I'll do something else. We're going to keep sewing. Just forget about that knot. I can't get it out right now. And it won't go through the stitches. So I'll just pretend like it's not there, and I'll keep sewing. And I'll come back and tie it off. I'll come back and just tie that off. Okay, so here we go. We're just sewing across like we normally do. And by it being garter stitch, you don't really have to, and it's a dishcloth, you don't have to. And just sew it up all the way till you get to the point. So you have all your... And see, you would have sewn in all these ends and all that. I didn't. I want to make sure I got this on the... I'm on the wrong side because I can see the little mark that I'm... the yarn that I put. So you get up here and then you're going to close those two little... See, you're going to close that off good. Of course, I would have sewn in my ends. When you turn it over, by it being garter stitch, you can't tell anything. You can't tell right or wrong. And I go ahead and do that a couple times. Now watch, I'm going to run my needle back down, just down to the circle. See this large circle here? Okay, if you have enough yarn, or you can just tie this off and start again, but I'm just going to run mine back down here. Like I said, garter stitch, you can't tell anything with garter stitch. And I just want to show you how nice and neat you can get this. Okay. Now, there's the large hole. See it? Right there. Now we're going to just start going around and around. You're just going to go around, pick up a couple of stitches around the edge of this large hole, and go around. Just don't pull it too tight. I can't pull it too tight. It will close up on its own. Just pick up, just kind of work around. See, I'm on the wrong side because I see my... Pick up a couple of stitches, work around. Don't pull it too tight at first. And you just pull it, work it, kind of spin it around. Go over here, pick up a couple of stitches. Turn it. It's just already becoming smaller. I guess, I don't know, do hats... I can't remember, we hadn't done a hat in so long. It's kind of like when we do hats, I guess. At the top, you know how you have the hole at sometimes on some beanies. Same thing. Okay, I'm getting back to where I started, so now I can start pulling a little bit as I continue to go around. See, and now I'm pulling the hole in a little more. Pulling that circle in just a little bit, but just don't overdo it too quick and have a big pucker. Okay, can you see it coming in? All this I'll cut and weave in or something where that big knot was. See, it's coming in on its own, just like I said, like the top of a hat. But I leave a little other hole. Where is it? Okay. I go ahead and leave. Just in case if I wanted to hang it on a hook. Okay, now look. I went from that large hole. Now I'm down to a smaller hole. And then you can decide on how far you want to go or try to cover the whole thing. I don't. I just... Okay, when I get to where I want, I turn it on the right side, and voila, look how it looks. Of course, you're going to steam it and all that. So now I can just go turn around and go backwards. Kind of weave it in. I can just take the yarn. Now I can just go back this direction for a little bit. Just like this. And then cut my yarn. And look at that. I hope it was all on the camera. If not, I'm in big trouble. Okay. There is another pretty, just a simple little face cloth, dishcloth, you know, a mug rug, something to put on your counter. Just sit maybe some fruit or something on there. Let me take my little thing there and move it out of the way so we can see all three. Now look at that. What do you think of that? Again, this was a Ravelry pattern from 2013. The name was the Almost Lost Washcloth Pattern. So tell me, give it a try and tell me what you think. And try it in all different colored dishcloth, cotton yarn to see. This is a good way to use up a lot. I have a whole lot, people. I have still so much more. But I do have a lot of this variegated where you can just kind of mix and match colors. And I always kept a lot of, off-white or white. But isn't that just cute? Just something that I wanted to do out of my Ravelry white binder notebook with all my free pattern downloads. So again, this is the way it looked. This is how we started. Just show you that. Make sure I'm on camera. I don't know if it's still on Ravelry, but like I said, I rewrote it so that I could share it with you, so that you could get an idea of just a fun project. Well, what do you think? This is Jay, this is Bird, and our beautiful dishcloths. I'm on to the next project, and I hope you enjoy this one. And then we'll meet up again, and I'll show you what I'm working on. So take care. Bird and Jay out. Bye-bye.